Trylko, Sons of UCF. New year, new league. But for UCF Women's Soccer head coach Tiffany Roberts-Sahaydak, goalkeeper DeLisle, and forward Asenjo, the goals remain the same: compete at the highest level and win a championship, this time in the Big 12.
So I arrived back last Tuesday night at 10 p.m. and I got right back into it Wednesday morning training at 10 a.m. and have been rolling ever since. So we had Sunday off, but we also have children, so they had soccer games, so I was still back out in the field. So no, I got right back into it, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I'm not adjusted with sleeping yet, but hopefully that will just take a little bit of time. But obviously, like, the team, like, they motivate me, so it's all good. Like, we'll get there.
And how do you feel about this year's team? What are you sensing as the strengths?
I'm really excited about this year's team. We have a really good blend of veterans, coming back that were impact players for us, like a Diana and DeLisle and Mia Asenjo. So we have a strong group of core players coming back that know what it takes to be successful. And then we've got a good blend of youngsters that have come in really fit. They all pass fitness. I think it's the strongest freshman class we've ever had as far as just being ready to go and being fit. And obviously there's a lot they need to learn still in the environment. And then with, transfer with Chloe Netzel, from Xavier, she's going to be, a great, effective impact player for us. So I think we got a really good blend and just really excited to see where we all go. But I think the main parts are where they need to be, and now we just got to grow together as a team. And I think with each game, we're going to do that.
How do you hope last year's experience, you can build upon that group that was with you? Now they're tested in that environment.
I think when you've, coming off of a really good season and winning a championship and, playing your best game, the last game of the season against UCLA, top team that, end up winning the whole thing, and knowing that we tied them in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they take that with them into the season, knowing that the core of our players are back. And they have a winning mentality. They know what it feels like. They know how to win. And I think it's just that mentality and that experience that they can bring in, and then also teach, the new players and the younger players.
I know I kind of talked about this before. You left for your trip before. You were saying that, Big 12 is what it is, but you guys are just as competitive. You said the best team is Texas, and we've played them before. So how is the feeling now, just as you're getting settled and ready to get going into your first Big 12 season?
We're thrilled to be in the Big 12 now, and we've always had a very competitive schedule, so it really is no different to what we are used to putting ourselves up against. But Big 12 is a great league, and we're happy to be a part of it, and we want to compete. We were ranked 6th. I'm good with that. We don't need a target on our back. I'm fine with that. And all we have to do is, keep winning games and get after it and grow with each game, and then we'll see. So, a lot of unknowns, obviously, and you go into new environments that we're not aware of and not used to, and but I think that there'll be probably a little bit of a learning curve, but I think it will be part of our growth, which is going to be worth it in the end.
How would you describe the quality of play that you're going to be seeing in the Big 12? I
think the Big 12 is, quality, and also very, very physical. So, very, very athletic and physical, and that's something that, not something that we're not used to. So, but Big 12, like I said, very competitive, one of the best conferences in the country, with the best teams in the country, and I'm excited about the quality.
Diana was named to the All Big 12 preseason team. What does she really mean to this team this year?
Diana is, she's an impact player, but she's someone that we need her to focus on her own game and just stay focused, on herself. So I think when she doesn't have a lot of distractions, she could be the best player she can be. I also think she's a player that, with last year, she got better as each game went. She wasn't a starter in the beginning of the season, and wasn't as fit as she needed to be, and then earned the time, along the way. So I think she learned from last season, and there's no doubt she's going to be an impact player. I mean, she's very technical. She can score goals. She's physical. She's fast. Like she has all the aspects that you need to have to be an impact player. So I don't want to completely rely on her, because I think we have more than just one player that can make an impact and help us win. But she'll be a big piece of it.
How is the team different without Kristen Scott, part of the mix?
I think, Kristen Scott was a great leader, and I think being at training, she always, had an intensity about her where, the younger players were learning from her. But I think, when you're a good leader, you kind of leave that behind. And, now new leaders have stepped in and are doing the same thing as Kristen Scott. So I think on the field, as far as leadership goes, that's part of her legacy. I think Dayana also set her up for a lot of her goals, and we still have Dayana here. So we just need someone here that can finish a lot of Dayana's opportunities that she sets up for people.
They were saying before how the two friendlies that you guys have played in so far have been really good results, showing you guys where you're at. What's been your impression of what you've seen through those two so far?
I really like how, the exhibitions have, how they worked out for us. I think they're two really good opponents that are different type of opponents. So against Miami, we were in possession a lot and got to work a lot on our attack and in possession. And then you go up against a FSU, and we're out of possession a lot and we're defending a lot. Even though we had a lot of opportunities in possession where, we had goal scoring opportunities and scored 3 goals. So it was really two good teams for us to go up against and just really test ourselves. And yes, I think it was exactly what we needed. Learned a lot from both games, and I think that's the expectation, is can we take these games and grow from them? Not about the result. It's just can we continue to work on our unity and our connection, and show and execute the things that we're teaching at training every day.
How much do you like knowing you have Caroline in net?
Caroline is, she's a rock. Having her and knowing that we have, a solid, experienced goalkeeper is always a good place to be in. So we're thrilled that we have her back and leading, the team. She's one of the captains, and she's such a solid human being, and really holds herself to really high standards. And it's relieving to know that we've got an experienced, really good goalkeeper there holding it down for us.
And what's it like for her to be able to mentor Genesis, who's coming through now?
Genesis is a real bright spot, a new player on our team, being, having World Cup experience, not necessarily in a game, but being able to go to a World Cup and experience what that's like is awesome for UCF, our team. And Genesis needs a leader and a mentor in this college environment, and Carol is that. And I need to say that Liza is a great mentor for her too. So Genesis has Liza and Carol taking care of her, and I know she's going to grow a lot this year in our environment.
You mentioned new environments that the team will be playing in. What else stands out about your schedule?
I mean, as far as our schedule goes, we always, like I said, we always have a tough schedule. So, we're on the road here in the beginning quite a lot. So, going to Purdue that we've never, been to, and Georgia's going to be tough. Somewhat of a new coach, the former USC coach, bringing in a lot of transfers that played for him at USC that are, national team pool players. So that's going to be a really good test for us going to Georgia. Going back, returning to Penn State, we had a great result against them a few years ago. So to have the opportunity to go back there. So, I mean, what stands out about our schedule is that it's tough. And sometimes I look at myself and go, why did I do that? And I say this every single year in the press conferences, why do I stack us up against the best? But it always goes back to, because I want to continue to prove ourselves and grow throughout the season so that we're ready for NCAA tournament time if we make it there.
And you mentioned not being bothered by being 6th projection. Why will UCF surprise the other teams in this league? What is it about this team?
I don't know if we're going to surprise any other team. I just think that it's a really tough conference. I think we have a lot of respect in the conference, and but I'm not sure if we will. I think there's a lot of respect there, and I'm hoping to be more at the top than 6th, and the goal is obviously to win the conference championship, which I think is very doable. But I'm not sure how we're gonna surprise them. Maybe I don't want to give it away right now.
I want to go back to last season, since we haven't talked to you guys since after that run. How good was that run last year, and how do you build upon that going into the first year in the Big 12?
It's a really awesome run. It was really special, I think, especially with such a big veteran class. A lot of us have been here for 5 years at least, and then we had a lot of younger players really step up in some really important ways. So it was really a really cool experience to be a part of. And even like someone who I've been here for 5 years, and it was our first trip to the NCAA tournament and stuff like that. So it was really kind of gave us a taste of what we've been working for the past however many years. And so really, really cool to be a part of that. And then I think it just kind of gave us a template of this is what success looks like and what has to go into our performance, our build up, all the things to get to the place that we want to be. And so yeah, I mean, it kind of gave us a taste of success and winning at the highest level and proving that we can hang with the best teams in the country. And so I think it gave us partly a confidence that we can hang with the best and are among the best, and then kind of gave us a blueprint of how to get there. So it's really important.
I mean, coming from a younger player's perspective, I've only been here for 2-3 years. My last season was my first season playing in the conference and in the NCAA tournament. So coming from a younger player's perspective, it was a dream, kind of like getting straight into it, having a really good season and everybody working really hard, and it's showing almost immediately. We all work so hard. We are all so disciplined, and I think that, like Carol said, it was a direct translation and a direct showing of all of the hard work that we put in, and it kind of did give us a taste of what success is and what our capabilities are, and it was just more motivation for this upcoming season, which we're going to do very well in.
What does this team look like post Kristen Scott?
I mean, Kristen was a vital player on our team for a very long time. Obviously, it is an adjustment. Different players have to step up in terms of finishing in the final third, but it's not a challenge that we can't handle. Obviously, we have film of Kristen, and we have, memories of Kristen to look to her for advice and for clips, just to see what a great attacking player looks like. But the players that we do have on the team are very, very capable of scoring, and I think that is the perfect opportunity for a lot of players to really show their finishing abilities. And I think this season we're looking very attacking minded. We are a good defensive team, but I think that this season we're gonna really show attacking wise.
With Tiff's return back from Australia in the World Cup, has she kind of shared anything new with you guys that she might have gained from that experience, being part of that coaching staff, that maybe you guys can kind of take into account now?
I think nothing super specific. We've kind of been adjusting to her being back and forth a little bit for the past few years, and so we have gotten little snippets of things that she's learned and that she's hearing from the national team. I think the biggest thing that we have taken away is we always have a high standard here. Obviously, best is our standard, but then she goes to the national team where it truly is the best players in the world, and so it's she has now raised the standard of what is fast enough, what is good enough, what is working hard enough. And so I think it just continues to pull us to a higher level of not getting complacent in any way. I think naturally none of us really do that, but it's oh no, there's an even higher level. There's always something better that we can be doing. And so I think those are the main, just the mentality that she brings back, and that she's always had with her experience with the national team. But I think just getting back to firsthand experience with it, that's kind of when she comes back, that's what we notice, just having that even higher standard to keep us at our best.
And it's probably important right now when you guys are in a transition to Big 12 play, where that competition does step up a little bit more. What's general feelings about entering this new conference play?
Yeah. Super excited. Everyone is super duper excited. Like last season, we got to play with some of the big dogs like UCLA and NC State, and getting towards the playoffs, we got to have a taste of what it's like to play at the highest level in terms of collegiate soccer. So I would say that we're ready. We're absolutely ready. We've had, our training environments are very high intensity, very high level, and we're all very excited and very ready, and we know that the intensity level and the talent from these teams is going to be a little bit different, but nothing that we can't handle for sure.
And coach is always scheduled very tough in the non-conference portion of the schedule. How do you feel like that prepares you once you begin conference play?
It starts us at a high level. It starts creating this mentality of like, this is what we're getting into this season, and this is what we need to continue for as long as we possibly can. And it challenges our mindset for sure, because in the beginning of the season, it's always, everybody's coming back together. We're working out the kinks, but it forces us to adjust quicker, and it gets us ready to dive right into season, especially in the Big 12.
And what have you noticed from the friendly matches? Obviously, you guys have played a couple already. What's that been like, and what have you noticed from those?
I think they've been really good. They're pretty different. We played Miami a lot of times, and so we're pretty familiar with each other. I think that was good first game, just kind of get back into it, get everyone on the field, get a win, like starting off on that front foot was really awesome. And then Florida State was exactly what we wanted it to be. They're national champions and some of the best players in the country, and so they exposed us in some ways that we wanted to have happen, and so it's an opportunity to learn from, because that's the teams that we want to be playing and the level we want to be playing at. And so it was a really good showing for both teams, and our ability to come back in the last 10 minutes all of us were extremely proud of, and that shows that like heart and competitive fire that we really pride ourselves on and what we kind of build off of. And so I think our friendlies were great, and I'm honestly, like, I couldn't ask for anything different in the way that they ended up, so it was really good.
Preseason picks, for whatever they're worth, have you kind of middle of the pack? How do you take that?
I don't really pay attention to them. I think we're the new kids in the conference, and we're ready to prove ourselves in every single game, and yeah.
I think that the World Cup is a perfect example of that. Everybody has these expectations of what teams are going to do well, and of course they do well because of how high their program is and the facilities and all the things that they have, and they're just good teams, period. But I think that watching the World Cup, we've seen, unfortunately, certain teams that we expected to get places didn't get to where they needed to be, but it's just showing that women's soccer everywhere is growing, and I think that any team is fair. Like, whatever team you are, you have fair game to win at any of it.
Totally. I think we just have the mentality of showing up every day, and anybody can win on it and be great on any given day. And so who do we choose to be on every game day, every training day? We get to kind of write that script. So yeah.
Imagine you guys are close with some of the other student athletes and the other teams at UCF. Is there just a kind of general excitement that you guys are all kind of going through this transition together, whether it be men's soccer, who's going to the Sun Belt, for example, but for the majority of you guys all getting to be part of a new era altogether?
It's just exciting to play new teams sometimes. Like, for the longest, we've been playing the same teams over and over and over again, which is a blessing, and we're all grateful that we get to do this. But we get to be exposed to different opponents and different levels, and I think that everybody can learn from this in all sports and athletics here.
Speaking on that, I think the softball team put out videos of them cheering you guys on during your friendlies. What does that mean to you, and like having their support behind you?
It's incredible. I go back to like when we played Memphis in the conference semifinals last year. I went to PKs, and I think every single football player, every single athlete was there behind the benches, and like it gives me chills thinking about it. Like the support is really unreal, and so it's just cool to be a part of something where like the whole program of athletics is behind you, and we're all like cheering each other on and showing up at each other's games. So it's really important. It makes you proud to be able to represent the school.
Mm-hmm.
Do you set personal goals?
Did we set personal goals?
Do you set personal goals?
Yeah, like I think people have personal goals going into season, but I think the things that we discuss more are team goals and the team successes. Because I think as a program, I think what has made us successful in the past is having all 31 people bought in and being committed to doing the best. And so I'm sure everyone has their own things, but I think as a team we focus more on how can everyone contribute to the team and the team goals. So,
bouncing off of what Carol said, our coaches do an excellent job of reiterating and reminding us and instilling a certain message that we is better than me, and although it may sound like cliche, corny, it really means a lot, and we've seen in the past seasons what that message has done for us. It's one thing to have goals and, you know, focus on those every once in a while. We know that when you work on your personal goals and having the mentality of giving what you can give to your team always creates results for the entire team. So I think that creating personal goals is a must, but also surrounding it and directing it towards the mentality of your team. Like, your team is bigger than you, and the results will come from it.
What will it take to win the Big 12?
I think it'll take us showing up every day and playing our style of soccer and competing. I think we can hang with anyone in the country. I think the focus needs to be on us succeeding and us being a 30-person unit and coming together and proving who we are every game. And so I think it'll take us being there for each other and being able to go out every day and get better.
I would definitely say being present every single moment. We make sure that we constantly remind ourselves that we get to do this every day, and being present with each other and taking one game at a time, one training at a time, one lift at a time, and being very intentional about everything that we do is super important, and that's what's going to lead us to win the Big 12.
The Knights open at Purdue and then go to Georgia before welcoming North Florida to the UCF Soccer Complex on August 27th. For the Sons of UCF, I'm Trylko.